if you have 3 planets or more than 3 planets in one nakshatra, then this is a video that you should surely deep dive into and not avoid. Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan. Once more with you from your very own channel, Astro Assurance. We have been trying to bring forth a number of equations, combinations, variations in the horoscope from different angles, from different perspectives. We have tried to see conjunctions or coming together of more than one planet, which is 2 or more than 2 planets also in various houses and various signs. We have done conjunctions in various houses and a plethora of videos we have done around that topic. Today I want to discuss about when you have more than 3 planets or 3 planets at least in one nakshatra. Even 2 planets in the same nakshatra does have a strong bearing on the results of the horoscope. But when it becomes 3, then it becomes very, very evident where the controlling energy of the horoscope of results of potentialities in your life are coming from. So let's deep dive and see how when 3 nakshatras can get into or 3 planets can get into one nakshatra, what is the dissemination? What will be the zodiac throwing up as situations, as opportunities, as possibilities for us, and how the placement of those planets in the one nakshatra will also be controlled by that particular nakshatra lord, and how strong a bearing that one particular nakshatra lord in which the 3 planets are placed that can have on our lives. Now remember, planets can be in the same house but not in the same sign. Number 1. Number 2, planets can be in the same sign but not in the same house. Third, planets can be in the same nakshatra but not in the same sign as well as in the same house. So these small differentiation we should be able to see. And planets can be in the same nakshatra but not in the same sign or in the same house. So either planets can be in the same nakshatra but not the same house or sign. Both house and sign cannot be the same, as well as nakshatra can be in one sign but not in the same house. The planets can be in the same house but not in the same sign also. So let's see the variation of these one by one, so that when we are deep diving into 3 planets are in the same nakshatra, what kind of results they will give to us. Now let's take the example of the lagna being in the Aries sign or any house being in the Aries sign being in any house. Say for example, if you're talking about the lagna and the ascendant is at 28 degrees of Aries. Now if it's at 28 degrees of Aries, which means majority of the Navamsas of Aries are already in the 12th house rather than or in the first house. But if you're taking at 28 degrees at the center point of Aries, which means that 13 degrees before 28 degrees and 13 degrees after 28 degrees will be in the first house. So which means that the 13 degrees to 28 degrees of Aries forms the first half of the house, the first house, and the remaining 13 degrees will come into the Taurus sign in the first house itself, in the lagna itself. So what will happen if, say for example, Sun and Mercury are in the same house, in the first house? But what can happen is that if Sun is at, say, for example, 9 degrees in the Taurus sign, those 9 degrees are also within the first 13 degrees of Taurus sign. So the Sun will be in the Taurus sign but in the lagna itself. Okay. And if Mercury is at the first few degrees, or say for example Mercury is at 28 degrees, 29 degrees or even 25 degrees of Aries, then it is also in the first house. So here the conjunction can still be looked at between Sun and Mercury, though they are not in the same sign. They are at different signs. Mercury is in the Aries sign, Sun is in the Taurus sign, but they are in the same house, in the first house. Now, second example, that planets can be in the same sign but not in the same house. where, for example, we are taking the same example where the ascendant is at 28 degrees of Aries. Now here, if Mercury is at, say for example, in 15 degrees of Taurus, and only the first 13 degrees of Taurus are in the first house. So 13 degrees onwards, because Mercury is at 15 degrees, it remains in the Taurus sign, but it goes into the second house. But if Sun is at 9 degrees of Taurus, so 9 degrees of Taurus are still in the first house itself. So Sun is in Taurus, but in the first house. Mercury is also in Taurus, but in the second house. So keep this in mind, that planets can be in the same house, but not in the same sign. And this has a strong bearing on when we are talking about the Nakshatra results, 3 planets in the same Nakshatra. And third example, planets can be in the same Nakshatra. Now we are getting closer to the topic, but not in the same sign. Now, how can this be possible, that planets are in the same Nakshatra but are not in the same sign? For example, if you see Aries, in the Aries sign, you have the Ashwini Nakshatra, you have the Bharani Nakshatra, and only one pada of the Kritika Nakshatra. Okay, only one pada of the Kritika Nakshatra is in the Aries sign. Rest of the 3 Navamsas or padas of Kritika Nakshatra are in the Taurus sign. Which means if any planet is in the first pada of Kritika, it will be in the Aries sign, not in Taurus. And if any planet is in the other 3 padas, pada 2nd, 3rd and 4th of the Kritika Nakshatra, it will be in the Taurus sign and not in the Aries sign. So this is very important. So say for example, if Sun is at 9 degrees in the Taurus sign, then it can still be in the first house. Okay, but it will be in the second sign of Taurus. Now, if Mercury is at 20 degrees of Aries, then it can be in the first house itself, but it will be in different sign. It will be in the Aries sign rather than in Taurus. However, they are still very close together in terms of degree difference, so they will still be seen as conjunct. And this is very, very important, that 2 planets can be in the same nakshatra, but they will get into different signs. Now, why this is important? Because a planet will give you most undiluted results when it is in the same nakshatra, it is in the same sign, and it is in the same house. Then it will give you very undiluted results of the same house, the same sign, and the same nakshatra. But if the planets, 3 planets together are in the same nakshatra, but they get into different signs, they get different houses, because of the degree alignment is such of the ascendant, then obviously they will give results of different houses and different signs as well. Keep this in mind. Now let's take the example of 3 planets being in the same nakshatra. Now let's take the example of the Libra sign. In the Libra sign, if you see, we need 9 padas in a house. Only 9 padas can be in a certain house. So if in the Libra sign you will see, if it's in the ascendant, then the Libra sign has 2 padas of Chitra Nakshatra only. Chitra Nakshatra, which is ruled by Mars. Then the rest of 4 padas of Swati, ruled by Rahu, all are within Libra. And the next 3 padas of the Vishaka Nakshatra, ruled by Jupiter, are in the first house. So that makes up the 9 padas. 2 padas of Chitra, 4 padas of Swati, and 3 padas of Vishaka. So these 9 padas are in the first house in the Libra sign, for example. Then, if you look at the alignment of planets in it, say for example, if you have Sun, Moon, or Sun, Mercury and Venus. Sun, Mercury and Venus all in the Swati Nakshatra. Then what will happen is, whatever degrees they may be within the Swati Nakshatra, the entire Swati Nakshatra is in the Libra sign itself. So there is no point of the planets going into a different sign. They're all within the Libra sign. So they will give undiluted results of both the Swati Nakshatra, because all 3 are in the Swati Nakshatra, as well as the Libra sign, because they all 3 are in the Libra sign itself, because Swati is, all the 4 padas of Swati are in Libra, unlike Kritika, where 1 pada is in Aries and 3 padas are in Taurus. So here, all the 3 planets will give you undiluted results of the Swati Nakshatra, as well as undiluted results of the Libra sign. Now, what is most important is to see that all these 3 are in the Swati Nakshatra, but Swati Nakshatra's characteristics will be upon the results of the three planets, how they manifest the results. But who rules Swati? Swati is ruled by Rahu, which means all these three planets' dispositor from a nakshatra perspective is Rahu. The DNA, the finest dissemination of results, is all concentrated of these planets in the Rahu nakshatra, and Rahu will have a bearing, strong bearing on what results they give. So for example, if you look at Sun rules the 11th house for a Libra ascendant native and is placed in the Lagna, but in the Swati nakshatra. So 11th house results of wishes and desires being fulfilled from how you carry yourself, what your goals in life are, what your personality is, what your status in society is, all will be coming by. And those wishes and desires will come from your own leadership, from your own responsibility, from your capacity to take accountability for your own results. So this is very strong bearing on it. However, because Sun is in the nakshatra of Swati, and Swati is ruled by Rahu, so the placement of Rahu in the horoscope becomes very, very important. Now let's say Rahu is in the 5th house and Rahu rules Swati. We already know that. So obviously Ketu will be in the 11th house. So this means that Sun's capacity to give results of wishes and desires, fulfillment, societal responsibilities, how you deal with your social network, how you will work in a large organization, in a large brand, will all derive its energies from Rahu's placement, or Rahu's placement will have a strong bearing on the results of Sun as well as the 11th house. So yeah, the person will take responsibility and accountability, but will also have a hunger and greed for own benefit. The person will take responsibility for the dreams and desires. For example, the dreams of the person can be that I want to do something for society, because Sun rules the 11th house and placed in the Lagna. So I want to achieve a big status in society. I want to achieve richness in society so that I can give back to society. I can do good for society. However, because Sun is placed in the nakshatra of Swati, ruled by Rahu, now the person will say, yes, I want to achieve a name in the society, I want to give back to society, but because for my own purpose, because to leave my own legacy, I want to be remembered long back after I am gone. And for that purpose, for my own purpose that I want to live, I want to be remembered for hundreds of years after I'm gone. So I want to leave my legacy in an area where society will remember me. That is the Rahu effect. If Rahu was not the nakshatra in which Sun was placed, then the person would have thought only about society, societal results and giving back to society rather than any selfish motive. But the moment Sun is going into the nakshatra ruled by Rahu and Rahu is taking over, there is always a hunger and greed and a selfish denotation to the results that you want. The same thing for the second planet. We talked about all three planets, Sun, Mercury and Venus, all being in the Swati nakshatra in the Libra sign. Now Mercury rules the 9th house and Mercury also rules the 12th house. So yeah, education of the person will have a strong bearing on the status of the person. So the person's own learning, his own or her own degrees, they will have a strong bearing of how the person is seen in society. So the person's education will also add to or contribute to the person's status or respect in society, or what the person achieves. In a number of actions of the person, his education will have a bearing on how he thinks, how he acts, what goals he has, how he takes care of his health, how he takes decisions or she takes decisions. However, because it also rules the 12th house, so the 12th house denotation will also come in, like foreign lands, working alone, working in solitude, working for the armed forces, working for hospitals, clinics, that denotation will also come in, but also that the person will have to put in a lot of effort because it is also the 12th house of waste and excess. So the person will have to think very intelligently so that his or her efforts are not wasted, to be able to have that strong bearing of education and experiences, higher learning, to have that bearing. However, because Mercury is in the nakshatra of Rahu, this means that the education will also be for self. The person will not decide what degree the person wants to do or what certification the person wants to do purely on the basis of what I like to do, what is my interest, but will also look, okay, I like to do this. However, does it have a strong result in today's life? Can it get me riches? Can it give me status? Can it give me success? Can it get me monetary gains? Can it get me people's adulation, people's fan following, people's liking me? If not, why should I do this degree? I will go for another degree. I will go for another educational qualification where the chances are high. So many times, at least in the olden days, at least in India, when I was growing up, there were only two faculties that we could get in, two streams that we could get in, either medicine or engineering. Now today we have so many options. So number of times parents used to push the children to get into engineering because getting into medicine was very, very tough. Get into engineering, become an engineer. Only then your life is will be good. You will have a success in society. That's how many number of millions of children were pushed into engineering because of the aspirations and desires. And the children also may have wanted to do that, even if the interest was in arts or in philosophy or in something else. So now obviously we have many more options also. Yet the person's education, because Mercury is in the Nakshatra of Swati ruled by Rahu, many times that will take over, that where am I getting highest success. Secondly, because Mercury also rules the 12th house, then it will also have a bearing on that my effort should be only for me. Otherwise, why would I put efforts? So that will also be there, that the person will think twice to put in an effort in a certain place because the hunger and greed is there. But sometimes because the hunger and greed is there, the person's focus will be misplaced, and because of which sometimes the person may also have to work double or twice or again to be able to get the results because of Rahu getting involved in the mix. Same thing for Venus. Now Venus in this particular horoscope for a Libra ascendant native rules both the Lagna and the 8th house, which means the 8th house results will obviously be upon the person. The person may get educational qualification but related to the 8th house and connected to Rahu. So the person may choose some unconventional approach to his or her career. They may get into a new upcoming area, for example, artificial intelligence, which is also the 8th house, the virtual world. What's happening behind, we don't know. So the person may choose education qualification in machine learning, in artificial intelligence, in electronics, which is also connected to Rahu, because the person wants success. And here education has a key bearing because Rahu is in the 5th house of the basic education up till your graduation, for example. Whereas your 9th house is higher education in what have you completed in graduation, but also masters and experiential learning. However, the other bearing is also Rahu being in the 5th house. The 5th house results will come. So your 5th house is the stage, is the platform on which you stand to be able to showcase your your arts or your capabilities, your competencies. So here the person will always want to be in the limelight, want to be in the front. So if Sun is taking responsibilities and accountability, taking leadership, the person will also look around that people should focus on me. People should give me credit for taking this leadership, for taking accountability. If I'm not getting accountability, or if I'm not getting the focus, the attention, the appreciation, the acknowledgement for my work, then why should I do that work? So the person will even shun work or do the work with less enthusiasm if the limelight is not on the person, the acknowledgement the person is not getting, the appreciation is not getting, because Rahu is in the 5th house, which is the stage. But also gains, I want high gains because the 5th house is the house of gains. The third is also change. So this person will not hesitate to make a change in their career, hesitate to make a change in where they live, hesitate to make a change in their education qualification. So midstream, while they're learning something, they may suddenly want to get into something else. Or they will always have this thing at the back of their mind. Did I choose the right stream? Did I choose the right educational qualification? Should I have done something else? This will always bother them. And what may happen, they may finish one educational qualification in one arena, but the masters they may do in something else because they are ready to change. If they midstream, they feel that things are not going their way, success is not touching their feet. And lastly, they may also change their jobs many times without thinking, for hunger and greed to work for a better brand, for a bigger brand, or for more money, for more remuneration. They will not think twice. So sometimes this person may also have their careers not very stable because of the constant changes that they make. Sometimes the career may not be stabilized till way beyond the 30th year, sometimes even till Rahu matures in life. So when 3 planets are in the same nakshatra, now the nakshatra is taking over. So now while we were talking about each individual planet like Sun and Mercury and Venus, but also keep in mind, because all three energies are concentrated in Rahu. Rahu will be the major factor in life. Most of the decisions, and not only of these three planets, will be around Rahu, will be around the fifth house results, will be around the Swati Nakshatra. So you will see many of the decisions in the person's life, the person will always think about, is it also helping me? Is it also being profitable to me? Is it also helping me to get gains? Secondly, is it troubling me? Then why should I get into it? If it's too much effort, why should I get into it? The person will try for shortcuts. So most of the decisions in life, including relations, including how they treat siblings, including how they treat friends, including how they treat societal network, including how they work in their careers, how they deal with colleagues, how they deal with bosses, most of the energies will be around Rahu and where Rahu is placed. Or just to simplify, whichever is the Nakshatra Lord in which three planets are placed, that particular Nakshatra Lord will take over majority of decisions in the person's life, because the Nakshatra energies are the foundational energies, the DNA energies of the horoscope of the zodiac. So if you have three planets or even more than three planets in the same nakshatra or of the same nakshatra lord, for example, two planets may be in Swati, but one planet may go into, say for example, Satabisha, that is also ruled by Rahu. Then also, because three planets are in the same, not in the same nakshatra, but of the same nakshatra lord, still the nakshatra lord Rahu is taking over. Or it could be merged if it's in Dhanishta nakshatra or Chitra nakshatra, for example. Or moon can take over if it's Shravana nakshatra or Rohini nakshatra. And most of the planets, or three or more planets, are placed in the nakshatras ruled by moon. So friends, keep this in mind, that whenever you have three planets or more than three planets in the same nakshatra or of the same nakshatra lord, then that planet will have a lot of bearing on your life. You'll also see that during the antardashas of that planet, you will have stronger results. Good or bad, they will be very, very strong results. And when the main dasha of your life is, or of the particular planet is, then you will find that your life's complete trajectory may completely change during that mahadasha of the planet. And you'll find the most important decisions or the most important situations that you face, or the most important experiences that you go through, or the most important gains, breakthroughs, as well as downfalls, pitfalls, will also come in the mahadasha of the planet. Now, if that planet is Saturn, you will find that most of the results in life may slightly slow down. You may be tested more often. You will have to follow rules and regulations to get any results out of your life. And most of the results will come slow to you. If that particular nakshatra lord in which three or more planets are placed is Mercury, then a lot of your decisions will be very educated, very analytical, very thought through, very practical. But also, you may find that sometimes you may become over practical. You may be over calculative. You may not look at relations and situation. You will look at what is the most practical thing for me I will do, rather than the emotional angle. If it's, say for example, Jupiter, which is the nakshatra lord in which three or more planets are placed, then you will find that the person will be large-hearted, but most of the person's decisions will be around what good is it bringing over the long run. The person will be very wise. The person will not jump into things. The person will take decisions basis how overall things look for the person. The person may take educated decisions, but will take wise decisions. Sometimes may take even emotional decisions, because in the current situation it is wise. Okay. So friends, look at in your own horoscope if you have a lot of energies concentrated either in the same nakshatra or of the same nakshatra lord. Even if planets are not in the same nakshatra, that planet, whichever in which three or more planets are placed in its own nakshatra, that planet has its very, very strong bearing on your life. Even if it's not the nakshatra lord, even if it's not the birth nakshatra lord, even if it's not one of the kendra lords also. However, if that planet is also the lagna lord, then it has a very, very strong bearing on your life. And if it's the birth nakshatra lord, along with being the planet, the nakshatra lord of the three planets which are placed, then also it has a very, very strong bearing. And if it's both, It's the Nakshatra Lord as well as the birth Nakshatra Lord, and you have 3 planets placed in that particular Nakshatra Lords or that particular, deities, Nakshatras, then you'll have the strongest results during the Antardasha, the Dasha, and the transits of the planet also. The planet's transit will bring about a huge bearing. And sometimes you will miss out the transits because you're concentrating on the Dasha and the Antardasha. Look at the transits. So, for example, we were taking the example of Rahu. If more than 3 planets or 3 planets at least are in any of the nakshatras of Rahu or Swati or maybe Satabisha, then you will find that you will also find when the transits of Rahu are upon any of the important houses, Rahu will bring about some bearing on the results of that house. If it's going over the 10th house, it will have some bearing over results of the career. You may find that suddenly things are not going as they are planned. Suddenly you will find either the promotion is withheld or you get promotion out of line. Something very unusual will happen which you are not expected before. So friends, do keep in mind and do look deep down. Don't just look at one nakshatra. Look at overall in which nakshatras most of your planets are placed. Which is that one standout nakshatra lord, whether it's Rahu or Saturn or whatever, in whose nakshatra most of the planets are placed, because the energies are concentrated there. Most of your results will come from there. So friend, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the links given below. Until some other time with some other video, this is a friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.